Good evening and welcome to 5 a Day with Jay. I am Jay, your host. Thank you so much for joining this evening. How are you? I hope you're doing wonderful and thank you for joining me. Sitting next to me, I've got a pen. I've got a notepad. I write down topics that I want to talk about from time to time. Other times I sit down, I hit record. I'm just winging it. Tonight, I'm going to say trigger warning to those who begin watching this. Hopefully I'll have a good title in there that'll give you an alert to let you know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about suicide. We're going to talk about death. This isn't going to be much about writing or what I've accomplished lately. This is going to be something that I feel needs to be discussed more openly across the internet for everybody to hear. One of the biggest things that I've seen people suffer from in my life is depression. And I'm not just talking about immediate people in my family. I'm talking about a large number of people that I know on the internet as friends that suffer from crippling depression. Look at Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton from Star Trek blogs extensively. And one of the things he talks about all the time is his depression. He talks about how it really just gets into his life and it's a problem for him. It's crippling. It's a liar. It tells you things that you think you want to hear, but you don't want to hear. Depression is very different than sadness. My favorite daughter moved out recently. She's not staying at home at night. This, to me, makes me very proud of everything that she's accomplished. I'm extremely proud of where she's going with her life, but again, I'm very sad because there's now an emptiness in the house that didn't exist before. That's not depression. Mother's Day was this weekend. My mom passed away a few years ago. My wife's mother passed away a few years ago. That makes me very sad that they're gone. That's not depression. Depression is a clinical condition where your brain isn't functioning the way a normal person's brain functions. I do not suffer from depression. As I said, I know many people, both in my life and on the internet, who suffer from depression. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Please go seek help if you are suffering from depression. If you think you might be suffering from depression, talk to your doctor about it. Find somebody that can help you. I would love to say, hey, if you're feeling down, give me a call. I'm always available if you want to talk, but I am not a professional. I cannot diagnose you. I cannot say, hey, I think you need more help than I can give you. I'm just somebody who, if you're feeling needy, give me a call and let's just chit chat. No problem with that. But when it comes to depression, and the reason I want to talk about this is one of my internet friends who I've known for more than 10 years. Unfortunately, I now need to say I knew for more than 10 years. He passed away in 2020. Depression most likely got the better of him, unfortunately. And it's tragic that depression can do that to people when it's not diagnosed and treated properly. If you or anyone you know is suffering from clinical depression, there's help available. Please go seek help. If you are thinking about taking your own life, it may or may not be related to depression. Seek help. If you are having problems dealing with a situation, it may or may not be depression. Again, seek help. I'm not a professional. Again, I cannot diagnose people. I cannot say, yes, you are depressed. Here's why you're depressed. There's could be a chemical imbalance. It could be a thyroid condition. It could be any number of factors that cause depression to happen to somebody. Until a doctor or a psychiatrist diagnoses and treats it, there's no way for it to get better. It's not something that's going to get better on its own. It's just not. Not all illnesses and maladies are visible and physically visible. Depression isn't something you can see in somebody. A lot of people that are depressed can put on a happy face and go deal with life. A lot of people who are depressed are fully functional human beings. But when they get home, that's when it really hits them. A lot of people that suffer from depression, it can be an embarrassment where they don't want to show that to somebody. They don't want to admit either to themselves or to the world that, hey, I'm suffering. I have a problem. I have a problem I can't deal with. Perhaps people don't have insurance to deal with it. It's a mental health condition, and mental health is one of the biggest things this country needs to deal with. There are so many people that deal with mental health issues, depression just being one of those problems, but it affects everybody differently. If we learned nothing from the pandemic last year, the pandemic affected everybody differently. Some people saw absolutely no impact on their lives whatsoever. Other people, like myself, lost family, lost loved ones, lost people that we knew, lost multiple people. Other people lost jobs, lost houses. Other people got sick and many died. Some people got sick and will never recover from this. I have a nephew that most likely will never recover from the illness that he had. Hopefully he will. Hopefully his health will come back. But odds are, it being a young adult, it affected him and will likely affect him for a very long time. Depression affects everybody differently. There's different levels of depression that people can suffer from. It's one of those things that over the years I've read about, I've studied about, and I need to understand how to deal with people that are in that situation. People that might be doing well one day and not well the next. It's a roller coaster, and everybody has their different way of dealing with it, but there's always hope and there's always help. That's the thing to learn about depression. Again, I recommend going to willwheaton.net, www.dn, willwheaton.net. Go and read his blog when he talks about depression, because he will blog on his down days, he will blog on his up days, he will talk about the monster that comes and just tells him all these lies that his brain believes, and he shuts down and packs in on himself. He suffers from near crippling depression, yet he is still able to get out there and do what he needs to do to survive and to provide for his family. As I said, a lot of people who suffer can be fully functional members of society, and they hide it until they get home, or they drink their depression away. Drinking obviously makes the condition worse. If you are suffering in any way from, I'll say this again, if you're suffering from any way with depression or thoughts of suicide, seek help, please. One of the YouTubers I recently listened to very openly was talking about his depression and how he deals with it. Again, depression is not sadness. You can feel depressed about losing a pet, losing a family member, or something bad happening in your life. That's not depression. That's emotion. That's sadness. Clinical depression isn't sadness. It is a mental condition that needs to be treated. I don't know how to put it any other way. There's a lot of information on the internet. I recommend researching, reading, go and study up on it. Learn about depression. Learn how to... Don't diagnose people. Don't self-diagnose. That's not... I'm not an expert. Odds are you're not an expert. I don't know how to diagnose a mental condition. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't even try. There are people that are professionals that do that for a living. I would trust them more than I would trust myself. That's all I can say. I guess that's all I really have to say on that matter is understand that mental problems can be dealt with. There's hope and there's help for those that have the means or the insurance. Unfortunately, not everybody can. All I can say is if you can seek help, seek help. Do what you can. Don't try and put a diagnosis on somebody and say, hey, I think you're suffering from depression. You need to go to the doctor. Much like many things in somebody's life, they won't seek help until they're ready. That's on them. All you can do is help on their journey. And once they do seek help, support them on that journey. This isn't a time for ridicule or anger or pushing somebody in a direction that they don't want to go, because people that suffer from depression, that's not what they need to hear. That's not what they want to hear. That's not what they're able to process. And that's coming to the understanding that people are wired differently. It's hard to understand that sometimes, that why doesn't everybody think like me? Why doesn't everyone just do what I do? I'm happy and everything's fine with me. Why can't everybody be that way? That is a very self-centered way of looking at a problem. This isn't the problem where looking at yourself can help somebody else, unfortunately. As I said, not everybody is wired the same way. Not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody's brain functions the same way. That's all I really have to say about that. I apologize. This is a slightly different topic than what I normally cover. As I said many times, I will cover a broad range of topics when it comes to this channel. Most of it will be related to writing. Most of it will be related to my career, what I'm doing, how I'm moving forward with my writing. The fact that I found out last week that last year I lost somebody that I knew, we had lost touch, and I didn't know why, and now I know why. Again, a YouTuber I follow discussed openly about his depression. I just felt it was the right topic on the right time. There's really no right time to discuss this topic. But there's always a right time. There's always time to discuss the topic until there isn't time, unfortunately. As I said at the beginning, I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you being here. This has been 5 Day with Jay. I've been Jay. You've been awesome. Stay awesome. Until next time.